Hi there, my name is Landon Wade, and I have been assigned the third case study, which is over London Has Fallen, and what we're looking at is whether this is too much for the public to handle or not. So let's begin with what is going on. So the issue that we have with this film is there's been a lot of controversy over if it should be released at a later date, and if that happens, also should there be re-editing or further editing in the content of the film. So this film was produced, or will be produced, by Gramercy Pictures, and I have been hired to consider whether or not it is ethical to delay the film's release and further edit the film's content. So just what I was explaining, that is my job in this case study. Okay, so in order to get to my decision, I am going to walk through the suggested Potter box. So beginning in the first step, that's going to be defining the issue. So this film is dealing with terrorist attacks in England. These are hypothetical attacks, but as many of us know, this issue of terrorism is something that is a little too close to our hearts and our lives, especially recently. There's also a large content of war and stereotyping as to who is doing the terrorist attacks. And there's also the question of whether this is actually entertainment or not, or just an excuse to create or instill fear into the viewers' minds. And then we're also going to look at the media commentators that are raising these questions and other examples that are similar to this one that we're dealing with. Okay, so with this second step in the Potter's box, it's going to be the values, and what we're doing and further explained in my paper is we're looking at the values of the actors, how they were affected by everything, the viewers, how they will be when the movie is released, affected by the film and its content and the story it tells. And then also, we want to look at the producer and creator's values because they are the ones creating the film, and obviously their values are very important. And then also, along with the viewers, there are terrorist victims that will be potentially watching this film, and so they may be a little bit more prone to be hurt from the information, so that's something that we want to look at. Okay, so moving along to the third step of the Potter box, this is going to be the principles. So the ethical principle that I feel supports my thoughts as an employee of Gramercy Pictures is Mill's principle of utility. And basically what this is saying, broken down into three parts, is what is right or wrong based on the consequences. The morally right answer will be equivalent to the balance of good over evil. And then lastly, and the most important, is ultimately the wrong or right decision is determined by the amount of good or the restriction or prevention of evil. And then for me personally, as an employer of Gramercy Pictures, I am looking at whether or not, if this is something that is harming society, if it can be prevented, it should be prevented. Okay, and then lastly, in the fourth step of the Potter box, we're looking at loyalties. So for me, loyalty is one of my top 5 personal code of ethics. Loyalty is something that's very important in any sort of relationship, whether it's producer to consumer or friend to friend. My biggest loyalty as an employee to Gramercy Pictures is going to be to the society and the film viewers. So I see this again as a way to protect the viewers. And ultimately, this film is, hopefully, as the producers are wanting, going to be something that is successful, brings them a profit, is talked about and shared over media and the news. There is a large potential for this to affect anyone that it comes in contact with. Okay, so overall, as the person in charge of the decision of further editing the film, I will be choosing to edit it. And then in the postponing of the film, along with the stronger editing process, I plan for this to begin immediately. As the film will be coming out soon, these changes need to be made and reviewed one more time to make sure that they are ready for production and that the possible issues we faced earlier and concerns that we've had, that those will be addressed and taken care of. So again, siding with Mill's principle of utility, I see that siding with caution now rather than picking up the pieces later is a way that good trumps over evil.